Welcome back to the 128KB podcast. That's right, your place for us to talk about all things gaming, and we are back by lack of popular demand. It's my new catchphrase.
I know. Someone commented going, I love that.
And this week we're talking about something a bit spicy, Andy.
Yeah, we are.
PlayStation.
Yep.
Sony.
Yep.
Re-entering the portable game.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Maybe not.
So we've seen official leaks.
Yeah. From Mr. Henderson.
Mr. Tom Henderson.
Yeah. Or Insider Gaming.
Talking about the new PlayStation portable device, which has been codenamed
the Q-Lite.
And I so want to insert swear words there instead. It looks a bit light.
Yes.
And we've got some strong opinions that we want to discuss and share.
Yeah.
And let's go. We'll play the game pros and cons.
Yeah.
But straight off the bat, before we look at any of the actual information, I just want to say Sony re-entering the portable game gets me very excited.
Oh, me too. And I just want to touch on that. A bit of a history lesson, story time with Andy.
Story time.
Yeah. Back in the day.
Yeah.
Right, it's like mid 2000s.
Yeah.
Little me's there. I imported my Nintendo DS.
Yeah.
Yeah. The two screen, dual screen, and loved it.
Yeah.
And then the PSP was announced.
What console?
Oh, what a console. But my brother then imported one before me because I'd imported the DS.
Okay.
My brother's like almost 11 years older. So he was like, no, the PSP's where I'm at. So he imported one. I saw it and went, I'm importing one. And we both imported one from Japan.
Yeah.
And we loved it. I mean, the UMDs sucked, but the actual thing was spectacular.
Yeah.
Fast forward to 2011, I think it was. PS Vita.
10 or 11, yeah.
Yeah. PS Vita announced OLED screen before Switch did it.
So the PS Vita is still, in my opinion, the most underrated of the games consoles.
It is fantastic. It's phenomenal.
And obviously, hardware's out of date now, but the screen is still incredible. It was so ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And it was criminal that it wasn't supported better by Sony.
Yeah, Sony shot themselves in the foot.
They dropped it and then literally went, drop it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
tough to support two consoles.
The biggest issue they had was their own proprietary stupid storage.
Yeah.
Because I was at university when the PS Vita dropped and I went, I'm buying one.
Yeah.
So I think I even sold my console so I could get one right away.
Yeah,
I bought the system. I bought like a 32 gig card and like a couple of games, and it was extortionate because you couldn't use a micro SD or anything like that. They're like, no, you must buy our stuff. Oh, look, and we've got a proprietary port thing, for all the accessories.
Which
it's like,
that's such a Sony move. Unfortunately, I think because of the success in the past they've had with some bits of media. Think about compact discs, Blu-ray. They've had success in that, and for a lot of it, their bits of hardware are the reasons why they were successful. You think about why PS3 and PS4 sold so well. Part of it was that it was a media player.
Yeah.
So they see that and they're kind of clouded by that success.
But then they've also shot themselves in the foot with, do you remember mini discs?
Yeah, I remember mini. I actually quite like the mini discs.
Mini discs were amazing, but that sucked.
Yeah, MP3 killed it.
Yeah. But so they had these amazing systems, and they were amazing. I remember playing like Prince of Persia and stuff like that on there, and just being mind blown. God of War, like the original ones. Like having access to on the PS Vita, there was a PS1 store on the digital store that you could buy PS1 games, and I was like, yes, playing Medieval, like all those kind of games. I was loving it. Like I still have my PS Vita. Well, I actually rebought it, didn't I? A couple of years ago.
It's incredible.
It's amazing. It's an amazing system that I'm really sad that they discontinued. And the thing was, up until the PS4, you could use it to remote play your PS4 games on the PS Vita. And then when the PS5 came out, I went, please let that be a feature. Nope. They discontinued it.
And no, it's shocking that it didn't get the support that it deserves. It was so ahead of its time in so many ways. And you talk about that the PS1 store being on it, that kind of backwards compatibility almost.
Yeah.
How to keep old games alive.
Yeah.
It was the Steam Deck before the Steam Deck came out in many ways.
Yeah.
So anyway, they dropped it and there hasn't been a PlayStation Portable since.
No.
until now, we're hearing these rumors from Mr. Henderson about the Q-Lite, which on face value sounds very exciting.
Yeah, when you hear Sony new handheld, you're like, woohoo!
Yeah.
And then when you hear about what it actually might be, you go, redundant.
I hope these rumors are way off the mark, because they're just gonna ultimately fail with this piece of hardware.
Yes.
It won't sell in the numbers they hope it will because of the big restraints they're giving it. Now, the rumors are, for those of you that don't know, that this is going to be not a cloud streaming device.
No.
Importantly. So you go, well, that sounds quite good,
that
actually.
That sounds quite good. Yeah. Pin it there.
Yeah.
Let's do the other specs first and come back to that one. So not a cloud streaming device. So you're like, this is sounding hopeful.
7-inch OLED?
8-inch screen. They haven't said OLED, but 8-inch screen.
Let's say OLED.
1080p 60.
Amazing.
Dual sense controllers on it.
What?
So adaptive triggers, haptic feedback.
That's epic.
Yeah. PS5 games can be played on it.
PS5 games can be played on it?
PS5 games can be played on it.
How are they going to do that?
Because you need a PS5 as well. Oh. And it's going to be remote play.
So it's not a cloud streaming device. It's worse than that. It's a remote controller.
Yeah.
So you'll need to have a PS5 and PS5 library of games.
Yep.
That in itself is a problem.
Yep.
That I know the PS5 has sold very well, but there is
they still
less
haven't
of
made
them.
a game yet, have they?
They've still not really made any games for it. No,
they've made PS4 games for the PS5.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, okay.
And it's my biggest bugbear. Like, I bought PS5 and I don't know why I've got it.
I love the PS5. I play it almost every night.
No, I love it. I do.
But I get what you're saying. Yeah,
I just want some decent PS5 games.
Is there actually any exclusive PS5 games yet that aren't on PS4?
I don't believe so. No, I don't know.
But, so you're going to need a PS5.
Is the new Final Fantasy going to be on PS4 as well?
I want to say no, but I don't know. You don't put it past them.
Yeah.
I mean, Final Fantasy 16 we're talking about. Yeah. I think it might be a PS5 only. I hope so, for their sake. For PS5 users like ourselves, that it is. I really want to get that, by the way.
It does look really good.
But anyway, so you're going to need a PS5.
Yeah.
And you're going to have a really good internet connection.
And not only that, there's a thing with remote play. Are you going to need to be in the same network as it?
Yeah. For the nerds, no. But for the average user that's going to buy this, yes.
So if you're a computer nerd, you've probably got a PC to start with because they're superior, but you need to be kind of nerdy to have one. You've got to have some PC smarts. But if you're like us and you do tinker around with stuff, you can access things that are on a network from outside of that network if you open the port up. Like, you can have external hard drives with media on it that you can access elsewhere.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit of know-how to do it.
Yep.
But the average player, the kind of person that would have picked up a Nintendo Switch Lite.
Yeah, that just wants plug-and-play experience, out of the box, done.
Yeah.
They're not going to mess around.
The kind of person that would have originally picked up a PSP or PS Vita. I just want to play this thing.
Yeah.
Now, I get why they might not make it its own ecosystem, although there's an argument for that. Make it its own thing. That's kind of cool. I think it could be really good. Okay, you want access to the PS4 and PS5 games.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Then make it a cloud-based or make it digital only.
Digital only, yeah.
And they kind of run PS4 style versions of the games.
Yeah, so straight up, before we go down there, because I want to venture into that too, right? I think that maybe whoever's got these leaked infos, Mr. Henderson's, that they've just caught that one bit and that's it, and they're rolling with that, right? Yeah. So it says PS5 remote play, and that's all the information they've got. So they're saying that's all it can do. But what if that's a bullet point in the spec list, and that actually it's further than that? Because I would love, personally, it to be a digital-only console that you can actually play PS4 games backwards, right, natively on the console. So you download it, pay for PS Now or whatever it's called, you can download your PS4, PS3, PS2, PS1, whatever are on that list to your Q-Lite, let's call it, the PS5 Vita 3, you can download them onto your handheld, play them wherever you want. But obviously PS5 games, maybe that's remote play only.
It would make a lot of sense because, like you said in a really important phrase there, PS Now, they had the platform to stream games or download them with a subscription that already exists.
Oh wait, it's different now, isn't it? It's just PlayStation Plus.
Yeah,
yeah.
But when they launched PS Now, the idea was you pay £10 a month, whatever, and you can access any games in the PS Now library, and there was hundreds.
There's a lot, yeah.
You can either stream them or download them.
Even though most people didn't realise you could download them. They thought it was just streaming only.
Yeah. But I went through it, I was like, I'm not streaming again.
Yeah, that's why I ignored them. I didn't even bother with it because I thought it was streaming only.
Yeah. I don't know if all games you could download.
I'm pretty sure you could, but
I went back, I played some classic PS3 games. It was a better experience than using my PS3.
Yeah.
Which is a future podcast.
Yes.
So I feel like that makes a lot more sense.
That I would buy.
Yes. So a digital-only console where you can download or stream games up to PS4 because that's the hardware limitations. And then if you want to play your PS5 games, you can do it remote play.
Yeah.
But the problem with remote play is inherently you're going to need to be in the same network.
Yeah.
And that translates as in the same house.
Which means the PS5 with this Q-Lite turns into the Nintendo Wii U, which, as we know, is one of the worst performing console releases in history.
Yeah. If it's just remote play, this is the PlayStation U.
It is, though, because that's what the Wii U gamepad was.
Yes, it was that, yeah.
And when the Wii U was announced, and this is why it sucked, because Nintendo didn't market it correctly, I genuinely, as a consumer, thought it was an attachment for my Wii.
Everyone did.
I thought, okay, I'll buy a tablet and it connects to my Wii.
Yep.
And I can Wii all over the place.
Everyone likes just Wiiing everywhere.
Exactly. And then it turned out
on you.
Exactly. You Wii on me. Yeah. But yeah, it turned out to be its own thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I actually have one. I'm one of the 3 people on the planet that use it. And it's great. But that's what ultimately developed into the Switch.
Yeah.
Because the Wii U, the pad, you could play. What I like about it is you can run the Wii U console and only play it on the screen. So you're not taking the TV up. And that's the only way I can see people buying into this Q-Lite PlayStation thing is for people with families or kids that want to watch Peppa Pig on the TV, but you want to be, slashing away at Final Fantasy 16. Well, okay, your PlayStation's still running, but you're playing it on a handheld and then Peppa Pig's on TV.
Yeah.
And that is such a minority.
I was going to say the truth now of yes, 10 years plus ago, that was the case of most households, but now there's just TVs in every room.
Exactly, yeah.
There's PlayStations in the kids' room.
And I'll let you into a secret.
Yeah.
You can remote play your PS5
already
on your phone. On your tablet, or even on your PC.
That's why I believe and hope you're right that these rumors aren't actually right, because releasing a piece of hardware to just do what you can already do on any device doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and it's an official Sony thing. It's not like some downloadable thing.
It talks about it all the time. The PlayStation menus, like remote play.
Yeah, so it's an actual thing.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense that they're. But I wouldn't put it past Sony because they do
backwards stuff.
They do some weird things.
I think they look at Nintendo and go,
"We can be weird.
Yeah, we can be rubbish too.
You did something weird.
Yeah,
we can be weirder.
We can be weird and redundant.
Yeah,
and one person will buy it, and in 10 years' time they'll do a podcast about it and say how much they really liked it, even though at the time they said they didn't like it, and that will be us.
Do you know?" That's me with the PS Vita. At the time, and PSP, at the time, I was like, no, I don't know. But now I look back and go, oh, yeah.
Oh, see, I was just like, oh, yeah, all the time throughout the whole experience.
It's fine.
I loved it.
So I hope those rumors are wrong.
Yes.
If they're true, it's tragic. If they're wrong, and this is a proper PlayStation Portable that you can download games onto,
with a DualSense controller on either side, with adaptive triggers and haptic feedback. Now that's then competing with the big boys.
That's Steam Deck stuff. That's amazing.
And it's more accessible because Steam Deck and stuff is still PC with issues.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's PlayStation,
it's plug and play.
Yeah, PlayStation, it's gonna work.
Yeah.
That's it.
Now just let's fantasize for a second.
Yep.
And they bring back the idea of the virtual store.
Mm-hmm.
And when you could play PlayStation 1 games portably.
Yeah.
Let's say they do that, but with the entire back catalogue through this PlayStation Plus Now style subscription.
Yeah.
PlayStation Later, PlayStation Retro.
Yeah.
How cool would that be?
It'd be amazing.
Do you know what I would do?
Be amazing.
I'd buy it.
Yeah.
and I'd sell all my games.
Yeah. And honestly,
I honestly would.
I know, I would genuinely be right there with you.
Yeah.
Like, and I would do the same thing. Even though my PlayStation catalog's not as big, there's plenty of games that I have on different systems that are also on PlayStation. I would just get rid of my physicals, and I would go that route. And the good thing is I imagine if you had that, we're talking hypothetically here, say you had that access to the PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, and all that, you'd also be able to access the PSP games.
Yes.
And the Vita games, because they were still single screen games, unlike Switch. Nintendo with like the DS, where it's a totally different thing. You can't really put that on Switch because it was a 2-screen thing. Do you know what I mean? Whereas you could totally do that with this. And that's the other thing is, I prefer the idea of this being a system that could play native PS4 games, as opposed to being a dedicated handheld with its own games. I don't want that.
Yeah, okay.
I want the Switch style experience. Yeah. Where I can play the PS4 games, the PS3,
I think,
the PS2.
and I think you're right. There is an argument to say it could work if it was its own ecosystem, but I think the Switch and after that the Steam Deck has changed the landscape, and I think that hybrid gaming is now the future for most gamers, or at least it will be. So, no, I think you're right. It should be the same ecosystem. I can't imagine Sony bothering to make their own ecosystem.
Because they won't bother. They won't be paying developers to make spin-off games. Do you know what I mean? Like, it needs to run natively. Yeah. Like, just the catalog they've got. They don't even then need to spend any development in games. They make the hardware, let it play PS4 games and below. And I think we're done.
We're all agreed that there's definitely not going to be physical media for it.
No. I'm thinking this is digital.
It's digital.
Yeah. They make more money that way. And the less effort. Do you know what I mean? So it won't be as big of a kill as the Vita, which they must have lost so much money on. Yeah. Whereas if they go this route, they don't lose any money because they've not paid for development. They haven't paid for hardware.
Do you think they'll still have their own like weird proprietary expansion cards?
They can't.
It's Sony. They can.
No, what they'll do is it will be internal only.
Yeah.
And if you open it up,
voided
warranty.
And like fused NVMe drives.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, soldered in. Like, that's it. Yeah, so not replaceable.
Although, they make the PS5 really easy to upgrade the
It did, yeah. And I was very surprised at that.
Very easy.
I haven't done it yet, to be honest.
Well, I've not needed to.
No, I've just been deleting stuff. But, I love the fact that they've done that. And it would make sense for them to release this model at a cheap price, like as cheap as they can. Yeah. Put in hardly any storage, but let you be able to upgrade it yourself, whether that is through like an NVMe or even just like an A2 micro SD card. Because, we've seen on the Steam Deck,
it works fine.
You can run AAA games off a micro SD card, which is still running 100 megabytes per second or whatever. And it runs fine. So they could do that, or they would go down the route of 3 models like the Steam Deck of here's your base model, here's your mid tier, here's your top tier, and it's just storage options. Yeah. But let's just talk about price. Because
it's interesting.
If they were, because we often don't, we normally fantasize stuff because we don't care. Like if it's worth it, sweet.
Yeah, I'll save up for it.
Yeah, exactly. But let's just say that it is the rumor. It's remote play only.
Oh.
Yeah. So you can't do anything with it other than sit in your room, right? Bearing in mind,
I've already got remote play, thanks.
Exactly. Bearing in mind a DualSense controller is what, 60, 70 quid? $80, is it?
Yeah. 60, 70 quid. Yeah.
For a controller. Yeah. So it's going to be much more than that because you've got that controller now with a tablet, an 8-inch tablet, which is a big screen when you think Steam Deck and Switch only have 7. And that's a large screen, right? So it's going to have that.
It's already too expensive.
You're probably, I bet they would charge 500 quid, $600 for something that you can't even take out of the room. It would be like the same price as your place. Got a bit of a problem
microphone's disgusted with it.
So, like, are they really going to price it at the price of a PS5 just so that you can stream games to it?
No.
Of course not. But
they'll put it at like an awkward price, like 300.
But even then, that is too much for a stream.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like an awkward...
You've got a phone. Yeah. Like, you've already got the controller.
How much is the base Steam Deck?
£350 or $400.
That's the problem they have.
Yeah.
How much is the Switch OLED at launch?
£300, $320, I think it is.
That's the problem they have.
Something like that.
So it has to be, if it's just remote play, it can't be above 200.
It needs to be like 100 quid.
Which means they're probably on the borderline of losing money on it.
They can't develop it. If they're charging like 60, 70 quid for the controller alone, they're not going to give you the tablet in the middle all in one new shebang for 100 quid.
No.
Like, it's not going to happen. No. So minimum £200, $250, something like that.
Yeah.
Realistically, you're probably looking at £300,
which is way too expensive.
$400, buy a Steam Deck.
Now, if it was $350,
yeah,
but it was its own console that uses the PS4 and 5 ecosystem, backwards compatibility with
that's too cheap. I'd pay $500 for that bad boy. The Vita was so expensive. I probably spent over 500 quid when I bought the Vita. And
Is that because you imported it? I can't remember what they were.
No, I imported the PSP many years before that. The Vita in 2011, which I'm pretty sure didn't come with storage, so you had to buy that additionally.
Jeez.
Right? So I had to buy that and then physical games.
Yeah.
Because they were on their own physical, like little SD card things. Yeah. I think for like 2 games, an SD card, the thing itself, and maybe a case and a screen protector, I think it was about 500 quid. And that was 12 years ago. So I would pay like Steam Deck prices for a PS.
Can I ask,
thing.
Do you know roughly how much the VR2 is?
That's like 650 quid.
There's your price. Because that's its kind of own ecosystem, a bit of hardware that you obviously need the console for as well.
Yeah, no. But I think they're tanking quite hard, the PSVR.
Of course they're tanking. Who plays VR, really?
Who pays 650 quid? It's more than the PlayStation 5.
For what? What are you playing? What games on there? There's, what's that horror franchise? The one that broke Dark Thingy Pictures.
Oh, Dark Anthology. Man, I can't think of... Yes, I know what you mean. We've covered it in the chat.
We've covered it a lot.
The Dark Pictures Anthology.
That's it. They've got like 3 or 4 games in the anthology. They broke them.
Are they on VR, are they?
They're bringing one out for the VR.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if it's a remake of one of them just for VR or whatever.
Yeah.
That'd be quite good. But it'd be like watching a film in VR because they are basically playing for a story, aren't they?
Yeah.
I don't know what else what is it? Gimmicks with like wrestling and stuff? I don't know.
I've not bothered looking at it, to be honest.
Because when I've tried to experience it, to me, it was much like my experience with 3D.
Yeah.
And I remember when 3D TVs and 3D stuff was coming out, I was like, this is such a gimmick.
Yes.
Have you looked at it? It's horrible.
Yeah, it sucks.
It sucks.
Yeah,
it makes you feel a bit weird.
Yeah.
VR, exactly the same.
Yep.
If I was in an arcade, like if I'd gone to
pay a couple of quid, jump in it. Way, this is good.
This is fun. In your lounge?
No. And think you've got to buy your PlayStation.
Yeah.
And the VR and possibly the games. It's like over £1,000.
And we're talking about an era where we're trying to make things as easy, as frictionless, as unobtrusive as possible, like hybrid portable game systems. So I'm not taking up the TV. I'm not just taking up the TV. I'm taking up the entire room. And if anyone comes near me, they're getting an eye injury.
So true.
Watch me play American football.
Yeah.
And I knew it was going to be bad because of the advert with Ozzy Osbourne in it.
I think that's what made it good. I was like, yeah.
It's like, this is the cheesiest thing I've ever seen.
It was hilarious.
Like he's going to be playing.
Yeah, he could hardly walk.
He had to cancel his world tour because he can't stand up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was because he was too busy playing PSVR. Like, he loved it that much. He went, screw it, I'm playing this.
Yeah, good.
But no, I think it would be absurdly priced either way. Whether it's its own actual real console or if it's this stupid remote play thing.
If they can sub £500 it and it's its own thing, it's 100%. A no-brainer.
Yeah. If it was, I reckon they could get away with it being Steam Deck base price, like $350, 400 quid max.
If it is that, and there is that backwards compatibility with
I'd buy one.
I would buy it, and I'll say this now on the podcast. I've got about 1,000 PlayStation games from all the different platforms.
Yeah.
I would sell them all.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even keep one.
Yeah.
Maybe Final Fantasy 7.
Oh yeah, but the likelihood of all of those being available, unlikely, aren't they?
That's very true.
You would sell probably like 30% that were available to play. Which I would say is acceptable.
Yeah.
I would. And I'd do the same thing. I would definitely buy it if its own thing. because I love the handheld experience. I was always both.
Yeah.
Because when you're a kid, it was like, PSP or DS. It's like, yeah, both.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
I just like games.
Yeah, I like playing games. Never cared about the console wars.
No.
Never. And I just don't care. You play what you want as long as you're having fun. That's what gaming's about, right? And I love handheld portable gaming. And now we're into the era of having handheld experiences on par with the actual home console. That's like heaven for me. You know, that's like God tier unlocked.
Yeah.
So if we could have that from Sony all day long, I would support it. And we would have lots of podcasts to do about it. But if it's a streaming thing only, it's going to be overpriced for them to be able to even afford to mass produce it. And it's redundant.
Who's buying it?
I wouldn't buy one. I wouldn't. Yeah, if they sent one, I'd love it. I'd like to show you all and like talk about it. You know, Sony, come over.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't buy one.
No.
Not even to do on the channel. I wouldn't buy one.
No.
Unless it went on sale for like 20 quid because no one bought one. Then I'd buy one.
Much like the Stadia.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. Remember when we said it sucked and it was going to die a quick death?
Yeah.
And everyone hated on us.
Everyone hated us for it.
What's happened now?
It's been officially discontinued.
Oh, is that right?
They've dropped all support for it.
And in the small print, it said they officially released a statement and said, as predicted by Andy and AJ.
Yeah. Despite all the hate they got for it.
Yeah. But they were correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
And on that bombshell, it's time for us to wrap this up. But before you go, obviously, make sure you like and follow and all that stuff. If you're listening to us on Spotify or wherever, rate the podcast. It really does help us. If you're watching on YouTube, before you go, why don't you watch one of these other videos by Andy right here? Ooh. Or maybe the last podcast, whatever that was. I can't remember.
No, I have no idea.
And until next time, we'll see you next time.
Bye.